Hello again everyone, and welcome to another video on my continuing efforts to support and promote all things Warhammer. This particular edition is designed to address a specific area of concern often discussed on the forums by players of both realms, that of the transition blues, a process of exiting Tier 1 followed by the attempt to become viable in Tier 4. That transition can often be frustrating and a bit maddening, but my intent here amounts to nothing more than an attempt to illustrate the process can be effectively accomplished while additionally benefiting from being fun. Okay, perhaps not always great fun, but still fun. For those who may watch this video from the EPeen perspective, please allow me to state what this video is not about. The video is not meant to assert in any fashion I consider myself the best at playing the destruction class featured. I know better. It is not meant to assert in any fashion others should play the class as I do. I have never cared about that. What it is meant to illustrate, as is always the intent of my videos, is that even though at times painful, I am having fun with the class and have managed the transition period cited with some success.
Hi, I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have: patience.
As you all know, I've played a Swordmaster for quite some time. I enjoy the SM class experience over that of any other order tune, and continue to play it to this day. The video you are watching serves to illustrate the primary reason why. This fight occurred during that period of time not so long ago when I was running Sword and Shield Spec. I found this sword guarding a battlefield objective in Black Crag, and of course subsequently attacked, initiating a 1v1 battle. For me, that is the essence of the game, finding those conflicts stripped of all considerations beyond those of you and your opponent. Winning such a conflict allows you, for a brief moment, to enjoy the victory and say, oh, I don't know, something like,
"Welcome to my house, baby, take control now. We can't even slow down. We don't have to go a while."
When I decided to switch to play Destruction, my desire was to embrace the same philosophy, and play a class requiring intimate contact with your enemy. Therefore, I became the very thing I have so often voiced in game disdain for, a Witch Elf. But here is why. The fight you are watching here took place in Elarion, where I found a Rune Priest again solo guarding the Reaver stables. Sneaking up on someone as a Witch Elf is much easier than it is on a Swordmaster, but initiating combat admittedly is more fun. I wasn't even rank 40 renowned when this fight occurred, so it wasn't like I ridiculously outmatched the guy, except that I caught him off guard, which, as I've often discussed in my Swordmaster videos, often constitutes half the battle. But just as with playing my SM and winning a 1v1 battle, doing so as a Witch Elf allows you to, for a moment, enjoy the victory and say,
"Welcome to my house. Welcome to my house."
Just before the music started, you may have heard a door opening. That was my wife coming in to talk to me for a minute, which is always a wonderful thing. But that aside, I am having fun with my Witch Elf, regardless of where I may fall in the community hierarchy. It has been enjoyable not only to go out and fight, but to run around and rediscover the Destruction realms. I have been taking in the captivating sights of the inevitable city, searching for engaging or beguiling items, and meeting strange and interesting people, and then killing them.
I wanted to be the first kid on my block to get a confirmed kill.
The inevitable city is a far more curious and enthralling venue than is Outdoor. Okay, let's just face it, Outdoor is fracking boring compared to the IC. Within the confines of the inevitable city, I have rediscovered the final resting place of the Three Stooges, the final resting place of the Wolverine, had a discussion with the writers of Season 8 of Game of Thrones, visited Harms and Noble, sung live at the Apollo, visited the inevitable city petting zoo, had lunch with the Queen, attended a NOW meeting. These guys were nice. Really. bathed myself in fire, and even found a Tinder date. Okay, I made that last one up, but the IC is the place to be. You just never know what may happen next. This video is sponsored by Complico, the big box store where everything is made just a little bit harder.
Get down to Complico for complicated bargains this Boxing Day. There's fridge freezer, only Xmas pounds, where X equals 1.6, M equals 37.1, A equals the square root of 5, and S equals pi. And store-wide, there's 20% off everything with the Indigo Cross, while 3.7% is added to all products bearing the Violet Cross. Sale starts at 5 a.m. New York time minus 8 p.m. Tokyo time. Christmas just wouldn't be complicated without Complico.
Yeah, I love that place. Now on to the issue at hand. My Witch Elf was actually created by my son, a former player of this game, and he was 11 years old at the time. He ranked the character to level 29 before leaving Warhammer for other venues, most notably the Metal Gear series of games. Consequently, my Witch Elf languished in limbo for a significant period of time prior to my decision to take a walk on the wild side. Now herein lies the essence of this video. When I began to seriously play this character, it was rank 29 experience and rank 23 renown. It was a crappy tier 2 gear with common level weapons, no cloak, and a couple pieces of influence armor. And yet during one of my first SCs, I came away with a score of 2 deaths, 7 death blows, while doing over 57k damage. Now sure, there were some good healers in that SC, but still, a rank 29 Witch Elf in crappy tier 2 gear, turning in such a score, it seemed to me there was hope for my character after all. However, things were not always so easy. What I'm going to do here, starting here, is just run a few clips from various scenarios played during that time I was rising through the ranks, building from 29-23 to 40-40 and beyond.
To infinity and beyond.
Combined with a bit of commentary on gameplay and the associated learning curve. So here we go. In this first video, it's a Serpent's Passage scenario, and I was rank 29 when all of this took place. Now what I'm going to do here, guys, is just a little running commentary, try to keep up with events and make some points as I go along. And the first one is I went back and checked, and this video that you're watching, this actually was the very first scenario that I played when I decided to switch over and begin to seriously level my Witch Elf. So, you know, rank 29-23 here, and this is it, my first foray into to combat. Now you can see I do what Witch Elves do. You stealth up and try to find somebody to pop out. As you can see, there are a lot of targets here to choose from. And as you watch me sort of fumble around in the beginning, you know, trying to find my footing, just remember, please, what the overall purpose of this video is. And it's to show that, yeah, coming out of tier 1 on this server can be frustrating. When you get, you come out of tier 1, you go straight into effectively tier 4, and it can be frustrating. It can be trying sometimes, because you immediately get out there and you're in amongst all the elites, so to speak. You know, the guys who are 60 and above on renowned rank, and so it can be a you can take your lumps, and I've certainly done that as I've been playing along here. But the video was also meant to show that it can be done. It can be done. It can be effectively done, and you can have some fun with it. So I'm going to fade edit here and cut just a little bit out to get to the next fight. Now I didn't get the death blow on that guy, but we have another group fight brewing. And back when I did my scenario guide video on Stone Trail Crossing here, this was one of the locations I highlighted that a fight can take place, because you can do a little bit of funneling there, but on this occasion orders just sort of push through. And I realized that the only reason I'm able to keep myself up at this point and keep after these guys is because we do have some good healers in this particular SC. So I'm chasing this Iron Breaker around, because again, this is my first SC as a Witch Elf, and I don't know any better, but there it is. There's my first death blow. My first death blow as a Witch Elf. And here I'm chasing a White Lion, and it's, oh, there's my second death blow. I have slain Splits, I guess his name is, whatever. But, so, you know, I got to work on, and I mean, as we go along here, hopefully you'll be able to see that I do work on my target selection. But here I'm after a Witch Hunter. That's always a primary target. You want to take down those guys if you possibly can. And I also had not set up my button rotation the way I wanted to by this time. So I was sort of just winging everything as I went through. But here I am after an Archmage. And I think we're going to, yep, we're going to get her. So before I come out of this, cut a little bit more off this particular SC, I again want to just reiterate the point. The point here is not to show, I mean, I'm having fun, obviously. I'm having fun doing this, playing this SC. But, and that's the key thing, really, when you talk about a game, playing a game. But the video here is not just to show, you know, how great I am, because I'm not. This is, you can, anybody who's played a Witch Elf can watch this, and you know I'm just sort of fumbling around here. But because I have good backup, this was a good learning experience, and you can do this coming out of Tier 1. You know, you can get into SCs, and like I put up on the text earlier, I was pugging this, so I'm just in here by myself. I'm not in a group, so it's possible you can get in and have a good experience while playing an SC like this. And here you can see the final result of this particular Stone Throw crossing. So what is this actually indicative of? Well, you can draw a number of conclusions from this one SC. First, of course, is I got into an SC with a number of other good players, good healers, so I had some support. Therefore, even as a rank 29 Witch Elf, I was able to do some damage and get some death blows. It also shows that there's hope. That, you know, coming out of Tier 2, Tier 1, Tier 2, when you're trying to, you know, to raise your level and become competitive, it doesn't always have to be the sort of negative experience that you hear so often or see so often discussed on the forums. And, you know, I guess the third thing is that if you go into playing a class like this, if you just go into it with the objective of having a bit of fun while also accomplishing the leveling objectives, then you can come away with a satisfying experience. So let's continue here. I have some other video bits to throw in as I'm making my way from 29 to 40. Now I have a few little segments here that I want to run just to, again, sort of illustrate the progression. This first one is taken from my Twitch stream, which is why it's cropped. But I went in and knocked down the Warrior Priest, and my hope was that when I did that, that the other guys would come in and help sort of finish him off. But we quickly get outnumbered here and didn't have enough guys to accomplish it, and I get killed and move on to Talabek Dam. I'm still ranked 30 when this particular fight took place, and so I stealth up and go in. There's just a couple of tanks here, and sometimes, you know, you got to take the targets that you have. So we're beating on the Iron Breaker, and because again we outnumber the Order players in the area, we get the Iron Breaker. So now I'm going to run around a little bit, and I'm waiting for my stealth to be able to reactivate. But in the meantime, I see another knight who's taking a lot of damage, so I move in to try to finish him off, and he immediately switches his targets to me. So even though he dies, so do I. And that happens. It's going to happen a lot. That's just sort of part of the progression that you can't escape, but you can still sort of have fun with it. Now here, I go in and knock down this Bright Wizard, and my goal was the same, that when I did that, the other guys would come in and finish him off, and they did. And then we start in on this Swordmaster here, who, you know, some of you may know this particular Swordmaster. That's Chinese hero. And I left this in just to show that I do get my first death blow as a witch hunter on Chinese hero, and I joined a club that has many members. Alright. Here we move on to High Pass Cemetery. Here I'm rank 35, as you can see, and I've been pugging a lot of SCs, but things do tend to start adding up fast. We go after this particular Swordmaster, and lo and behold, there's a message. I killed 100 of them, and my goal is to get it up to 1,000 as quickly as I can. But I'm putting this video in just to sort of show the progression that even though, like in this particular fight, the Slayer vastly outranks me. Combined with this Chosen, I'm able to hold my own long enough, and I'm only like rank 34 here, but I'm able to hold my own long enough to get the death blow on the Slayer. But then, you know, he was beating on me, so I go down as well. But I consider, okay, given that I was ranked 34 experience, and this guy was, he knows what, I consider that a win. And that's one of the central points I'm trying to make here, is as you go through that vast wasteland known of as leaving tier 1 and finally getting to rank 40, and then rank 40 renown and beyond, you're going to have your moments. It's worth doing, because you're going to have your moments where the class you've chosen is just fun to play, and you're going to get in situations where even though you may be ranked 30, 32, 35, 38, whatever, you're still going to come out ahead. And that's the only reason I'm putting these segments in, is just to show, again, not that I'm anything special in playing this class, but the class can be played effectively even when you're sub 40. The end result of playing, as indicated by the previous video segments, was I went from rank 29-23 to rank 40-40 in less than a week. Now granted, I certainly benefited from the double experience and renown gain weekend. But had that event not taken place, I truly feel leveling to rank 40-40 wouldn't have taken that much longer. It is important, therefore, I emphasize the game mechanics I utilized to accomplish that goal. Here's a screenshot of a forum post concerning how best to level once out of tier 1. I edited the name of the forum member, of course, in respect for forum rules. One primary claim proffered is the leveling process is, quote, a slog fest, requiring you engage in this, that, and the other thing. In leveling my Witch Elf, I didn't do any of that crap. I did SCs and open RVR. Consequently, the problem of being equipped in low-level gear quickly resolved itself. I gathered enough emblems and medallions to acquire both Devastator and Annihilator gear rather quickly. Combined with a couple of fortunate bag rolls following zone locks, I was soon in 3-piece Conqueror gear, combined with 3-piece Mercenary gear. Yesterday, as I record this, I won my 3rd piece of Genesis gear, and already had the Vanquisher chest piece when my renown gets high enough to wear it. So again, I became more competitive in the tier 4 realms rather quickly. The problem, meaning the eventual wall you will hit, is in acquiring advanced weaponry. As can be seen in this video, the most desirable weapons purchasable with Conqueror emblems cost 750 emblems each. By the time I grind enough SCs to be able to purchase even one of them, in all probability I will have won a Subjugator weapon, or even 2, thus rendering the SC weapons obsolete. Thus my incentive for continuing to grind SCs becomes undermined, particularly when considered against the fact that I've reached a renown rank high enough to receive Vanquisher emblems for SC play. Which now means I am, in effect, grinding for the Vanquisher weapons as opposed to the Conqueror weapons, therefore what is the continued point of gaining Conqueror emblems? Okay, gear, blah blah blah, but given the Conqueror weapons were recently nerfed, at least as I understand the implementation of Vanquisher gear, so again, what is the continued point? However, to emphasize the main point, leveling after tier 1 is not and does not have to be a slogfest. Instead, as I've tried to indicate with prior video and in this commentary, it can rather be a slugfest, a process which is much more fun. Okay, yeah, you're going to suffer in-game death on numerous occasions, and people are going to laugh at you, and the elitists are going to, well, elite. But who cares? None of that matters. What matters is when you level out of tier 1, there is only one question you have to answer for yourself. Only one question which means anything. Who are you playing this game for? Yourself? Or the Nerf button crutch crowd of self-appointed Novo-rich vulgarians? Choose the former answer, and your leveling experience past Tier 1 can, and probably will, be both brief and enjoyable. Okay. Finally, a few more recent videos of playing this class. Fights which occurred post 4040, submitted to again illustrate not only the worth of leveling your class, but the associated fun factor following successfully having done so.
Get great deals at Complico. This widescreen TV, only $37.42 squared. This MP3 player, only $79.99 divided by $89.99 times 9.9. 5.29368% off this fantastic microwave. This kettle, only $155.27 minus the price of the microwave we just showed you. Complico, always awkward prices.
Oh, one more bit of context. Playing a witch elf is kind of like this.
Hey, who are you?
Oh, hey, Jeff, I'm a car thief.
What?
I'm here to steal your car because, well, that's my job.
What?
What?
Yeah, that's kind of what we do. Alright, I got a few fights here to show you. This first one, as you can see, against the Knight of the Blazing Sun, and I wasn't even able to stealth prior to the battle because you can see the timer still counting down. I had just come out of another fight with the Swordmaster, and then this knight rolls up. So we just had to go into it. I had to go into it sort of straight up, and there I did the cleanse to get the movement debuff off of me, and I was successfully able to knock him down there, which gave me a decided advantage. Now, as an SMB knight, he's registering as equal on the opponent chart up on the upper left. So, I have no idea what his renown rank may be, but we appear to be a little equal, would be my guess, on the renown ranks here. I'm probably about 45 when this fight took place, and I just keep pressuring and hoping that I've got enough to outlast the guy. And there it is. There's a 1v1 kill, which I always enjoy. Up next, I creep up on the Witch Hunter here, and the Bright Wizard, as you can see, rides away, so I go ahead and decide to commit. Witch Hunters, just because it says he's effortless, that doesn't mean much, really. So I go up and successfully creep up on him and knock the guy down. He doesn't appear to immediately react, and I find that a lot on the Witch Hunter is, if you find guys out in open RVR, many times you get the first hits in, and it takes them a moment to react. It's a different story when you're in a scenario or something like that, but it really does grant you a decided edge when the response is as you saw there. So I get the kill. Next, sort of the same thing. I see a Slayer down here, so I stealth up to creep up on him, and I'm going to get the knockdown here, and he's going to do the same thing. He kind of just stands there for a second, and I get some good hits on before there's any reaction at all. Now, what I didn't know at the time, there's a stupid Swork up there, should have minded her own business, but okay, here's a little cleanup detail. There was a fight at the BO here, Madcap Pickens and Black Crag, and the other destruction guys down here don't see these two, but since I'm up above, I see them. So I stealth up and move in. Now this engineer is AFK, so I steal his car. Because again, that's what we do. Now the Shadow Warrior's in the bushes, and he, as you can see, he begins to shoot at me right there. So I kill the engineer, and I can't even tell if I'm in front or behind this guy. Looks like I'm in front of him, but he's doing some decent damage, and I just have to wear him down, and there, I get the kill on that one. And I'm gonna leave this run for just a second to show that all these other guys are just sort of standing around out there. Okay, here's a fight against the Swordmaster, and I'm kind of I'll put this one in to kind of make a point, because he's going to register as trivial, but I take the fight anyway. And the question I would ask here is, if you were to put any other Witch Elf player any of the, quote, known ones, big names, whatever, you know, any other Witch Elf player in the exact same situation that I was in here, you know, hiding down in the crypts, and this guy comes riding in. The question is, would they have turned the fight away? Would they have just run off and left the guy alone? I kind of doubt it. I really do. So, you know, I took the fight because how does one get to Carnegie Hall? And the answer is practice, practice, practice. So, also, of course, having played a Swordmaster all these years, it was fun to kill one. But wait, I have one more. One more special bit of video. This fight took place just earlier tonight in the Destruction Fortress assault that we had. And I was live streaming at the time. It's almost over, but I stealth up because I see destruction or order. I see order coming down the way here. So I take a position just to the side and click on Zarbix. There he is. And look at this. He comes right to me. And I jump out, get the pop, get the knockdown. And I'm taking some damage. I'm hoping just to hold on long enough here. And there it is. I have slain Zarbix. So now I'm just trying to get away. And I land in the tree. Pop a health pot. And that is that. That was a... that was a good kill. Kind of fun. So I thought I would put it as a you know, special little last minute addendum to this video. Alright, moving on. Okay, that will kind of do it for this particular video. I think I've made enough points, and hopefully I'll get some response. Somebody will have something to say. But it's been fun. It's been fun playing the class. I am having fun with it. I'm up to renown rank 54, and I just keep plugging away because, you know, how else are you going to play the game? So, take care, guys. As always, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes.
How now, you secret black and midnight hags? What is to do?
A deed without a name.